The music's gonna play first, right? Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the special board meeting on 27 April 2021. We are excited to be here today. This is a important day for Akron Public Schools. And so we're going to go ahead and start by the roll call. Mr. Alexander.
Present.
Ms. Autry.
Present.
Mr. Bravo. Mr. Bravo. You're muted, Mr. Bravo.
Present.
Dr. Hall.
Aye.
Mrs. McKittrick.
Yes, here.
Mrs. Mansfield.
Here.
And Dr. Akbar here. So we have all 7 board members present. And there's no need to recess into executive session, so we're going to meet here for the purposes of the resolution that's on the table, number 21-049. Is there a motion to approve that resolution?
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved by Dr. Hall and seconded by Mr. Alexander that we approve the resolution number 21-049, the appointment of Christine Fowler Mack as superintendent and approval of the superintendent's contract. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Mansfield.
So I just can't let this moment go past without celebrating the fact, first of all, that we have Christine as our superintendent, but second, that we are hiring the first woman to ever, in the history of Akron Public Schools, hold this position. And that has great meaning, not just to me as someone who graduated from Akron Public Schools, but hopefully to all the children in Akron Public Schools who are watching today for so many reasons, right? She's not only the first woman, she's the first woman of color. I feel like I'm talking about you like you're not here. It's so weird to have you behind me, so I apologize for that. But I've already seen a quote from a young girl who was so excited that Christine looks like her. And so I just couldn't let that moment go past without congratulating Ms. Fowler Mack, but also for celebrating that in our city. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other discussion? Mr. Alexander.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment. And I want to echo the sentiments that Mrs. Mansfield said, but I also want to say that as a board, no matter who the superintendent is that comes to this district, we should be proud of our district, and we should be happy, and we should support them and make sure they're successful, because if they're not going to be successful, our students aren't going to be successful, which means our district is not going to be successful. So I rally all of us as board members to get around Mrs. Fowler Mack as workers and employees of the district, those individuals in the community to rally around her to make sure she's successful so that our students here at Akron Public Schools will be successful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Dr. Hall.
Yeah, you know, I would agree with Mr. Alexander's commentary, and also would echo Ms. Mansfield's earlier conveyed sentiments as well. I think you know, we're obviously all excited to have you here and looking forward to these next steps. We've come a long way the last 12 years, and you know, so it's been a great ride, and so we will celebrate, you know, Dr. James and Dr. McWilliams-Woods as well, but also looking forward to, you know, an even brighter future with you at the helm of the ship. So looking forward to working with you as we move forward. So thank you kindly.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Any other discussion? Okay, hearing and seeing none, we will proceed with the vote by roll call. Mrs. Mansfield.
Yes.
Mrs. McKittrick.
Yes.
Dr. Akbar, yes. Mr. Alexander.
Yes.
Ms. Autry,
Yes.
Mr. Bravo,
Yes.
Dr. Hall.
Aye.
So that the vote is 7-0 to approve the appointment of Ms. Christine Fowler Mack as our next superintendent. Congratulations, Ms. Christine Fowler Mack. For procedural purposes, we are going to adjourn the special meeting, but right after the adjournment of the special meeting, I will have the pleasure of introducing our new superintendent. Again, as I've said before, we have one superintendent at a time, and we will continue to support Dr. James until his last day as our leader. But we also want to celebrate this moment in Akron Public Schools history as well. So I don't want anyone to get any misrepresentation about what today is. We're excited to have her start when she does finally start with us in a few months. So with that being said, is there anything else to come before this board? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved by Dr. Hall and seconded by Mr. Alexander. We are now adjourned. I feel like we should be playing music at this point. We should definitely be playing maybe Stevie Wonder, Signed, Sealed, Delivered, I'm Yours. Okay. All right. So I want to take this time and thank everyone for being here today. It is indeed a pleasure to be here, and it's a monumentous occasion. So thank you. And it's also an exciting day in Akron Public Schools history. As you just witnessed, the board approved the employment contract of Christine Fowler Mack to become our next superintendent. Congratulations again for this day and this moment and this opportunity. This action signifies a significant moment in Akron Public Schools. This moment marked a sense of humility and steady focus towards needed progress. This moment enshrines in it the historical action that we witnessed today, but will forever be memorialized in discussions and the history of the district as we know it. This moment marks the hiring of the first female superintendent in Akron Public Schools history. In just a few months, Mrs. Fowler Mack will become not only the first female superintendent, but the first Black female to hold this post. This is an important moment for this district. I want to take a few moments to discuss this moment, why Mrs. Fowler Mack, and why now. Christine Fowler Mack is Akron born and raised. As a daughter of a former Akron Board of Education president, who is actually here with us today, Reverend Fowler, Fowler Mack sought to forge her own path and decided to leave Akron. In doing so, she has achieved so many remarkable accomplishments that will lend itself well to her return in this very moment. Mrs. Fowler Mack is an educator, a mother, a former building leader, former assistant superintendent, and former interim superintendent. So in this moment, Mrs. Fowler Mack's hiring elevates the board's commitment to enhancing the college and career academies of Akron as a cornerstone framework for our district, which sets us apart from all the other large urban districts in this state, I might add. This moment requires us to have a fierce urgency of now. Now requires us to be intentional. Now requires us to have an unapologetic focus on equity. This moment requires us to focus on every fabric of our system and dismantling racism and unintended barriers to student success. This moment will require us to identify our weaknesses and call out the schools where we need to spend a little bit more time, energy, and efforts to raise them from priority-focused status. This moment requires us to have an experienced and accomplished collaborator, a leader who will bring us all together while not being afraid to call a thing a thing. This moment calls for someone like Christine Fowler Mack and all of us to be inspired and empowered by her leadership. This board has decided that this moment called for you, called for Miss Christine Fowler Mack. Dare I be bold and say that we have high expectations for you and your leadership. Dare I say, we know we will meet and exceed those expectations and the call for this moment. And we will bring your experience and expertise and spread it throughout the district to help Akron become the #1 public school district in this country. That is still our goal. Dare I be bold and suggest that your leadership will help us position Akron Public Schools as the destination school district for all within the city of Akron, and dare I be bold to say that we will rely on your expertise to help us become a national leader in providing virtual education and learning, providing more opportunities, options, and a higher quality of instruction. Dare I be bold to say that this vision will put charter schools out of business in Akron. Dare I be bold to say that this is possible with our first Black female superintendent. Dare I be bold to say all of those things? The answer is yes, I am that bold. And I'm that bold because she is bold. She is beloved. She is optimistic. She is limitless, and she is determined. She is bold. Need I say more? This is a homecoming for Mrs. Fowler Mack, a celebration for what is to come. We are truly excited to have you join us here in our district and as our next superintendent. So congratulations again. And on behalf of all of our staff, students, and all the members of our board here present assembled, we welcome you home, Mrs. Fowler Mack. We welcome you home. And so as we prepare for your homecoming, we would like to give you an opportunity to provide us some words in this moment. Thank you.
May I? Okay. Awesome. Good afternoon, everyone. Board President Akbar, Vice President Dr. Hall, members of the Board of Education, Superintendent James, to our scholars, our staff, our senior staff assembled here, and community. I am deeply humbled and extremely excited to be here today to publicly commit to leading Akron Public Schools as your next superintendent of schools. It is both an honor and privilege to be able to return to a system where my hopes and dreams began, and where I ultimately began my career as a teacher and educational leader. Board members, I don't envy the task that you had to select a superintendent to succeed someone of the stature of Dr. James, who served Akron Public Schools for 29 years and led this district through some of its most challenging and innovative times the last 13. I am not only grateful for your trust in me to take the reins as superintendent, but am ready for the challenges we will face together. When visiting the schools within the last week, there was a student that had a twinkle in her eye that reminded me there at Ellett Community Learning Center to put this moment into perspective. It summed it up in a quote: "The best scenario is when preparation meets opportunity." And what a tremendous opportunity I believe this is. I am fully prepared for and truly grateful for this opportunity. Akron is special to me. In addition to my very positive, successful K-12 educational experience, I was motivated to pursue this superintendency when I read the district's vision, a statement that's worth repeating: to become the #1 school system in the United States. That's exciting. While such a vision is grand, one must believe the vision is only attainable with the work of everyone together, so that Akron Public Schools will distinguish itself as that top district in the nation. While such a goal begins with a vision, it requires setting meaningful priorities and implementing a comprehensive plan. I accept this post with eyes wide open, recognizing that this is an opportunity that comes at a time that is clearly the most challenging point in history, post-pandemic, after a full year of disruption due to the pandemic that altered our lives, our work, and our schools in countless ways. It has been said that where there is a crisis, there is opportunity. And that certainly applies to this moment here in the Akron Public School System, where our focus on safety, recovery, renewal must be balanced with an aggressive pursuit of academic achievement through an expanded lens of opportunities focused on the future. The opportunity before us implores us to embrace a broader set of ideas and contributions from those inspired, and to bring resources to our schools as partners, where their active engagement and meaningful supports can lift our scholars and families in immeasurable ways on a path towards excellence together. As I pledged when I outlined my first 100 days as your superintendent, I will listen, learn, and then lead in that order. Of significance is the plan that's already in place, a very strong strategic plan: advance Akron Public Schools 3 and 3. It commits the school system to 3 things I care about very, very deeply: academic achievement, equity, and engagement. One must be more than well-trained, experienced, and prepared to implement a plan that is aligned with the grand vision. One must also be realistic about and undaunted by the complexity of the work and challenges we face in improving outcome and conditions for the most underserved amongst our scholars and addressing our priority schools. The success we envision requires targeted commitments of time, resources, and talent to areas of greatest need. It also reminds us to remain equally committed to sustaining, expanding, and further developing strategies and opportunities that are working here in our system. You have my commitment to those desired goals. Today, in talking with staff and community members and persons at large, just like I have done in the past weeks, I believe wholeheartedly that this school community will work in partnership to make our schools, to make Akron the #1 district in the country. I look forward to working with Dr. James to ensure a smooth transition of leadership. I look forward to meeting with scholars, educators, staff, principals, caregivers, and families to fully understand our starting point, APS today. One of the blessings as I began this important work is that for Dr. James and I, we have been colleagues over a number of years, he and Dr. McWilliams-Woods. While this is a remarkable milestone in my life, I don't take for granted your faith in me as your next superintendent. In the days to come, I will work to earn your trust and to validate the faith you have shown in my readiness to support the Akron Public School System and its staff. Today, I reaffirm my commitment to making Akron Public Schools a system where scholars can graduate fully prepared for college, careers, and life on the pathway that they choose. 2, being a system where academic achievement is possible for all because caring educators provide authentic, joyful learning experiences. A system where dedicated community members provide meaningful supports to academic success, social-emotional learning, and independent entrepreneurial activities for every child. Our vision will take time. It'll take the talents and the resources of every one of us who have committed ourselves to making Akron Public Schools #1. Finally, to our beautiful, diverse, capable, determined APS student scholars, you are our priority. You are my priority. We want you to dream big dreams and reach high, and we are here to support you as you discover and try new things, as you meet high standards and develop new skills. And to the talented, hardworking APS leaders, teachers, and staff, I look forward to working with you. Your voice matters to me as I seek to understand your needs and to build on the great things already happening in the system. When I was a teacher at the Academy at Robinson, we had a very beloved parent educator who worked in that community. Her name was Sandra Roebuck, and she used to always take the opportunity to use a poem called Unity that I just felt befitting for this moment. So I will end with that as a message to our families and caregivers. I dreamed I stood in a studio and watched 2 sculptors there. The clay they used was a young child's mind, and they fashioned it with care. One was a teacher. The tools that were used were books, music, and art. The other, a parent, worked with a guiding hand and a gentle, loving heart. Day after day, the teacher toiled with touch that was deft and sure, while the parent labored close nearby and polished and smoothed it o'er. And when their task was done, they were proud of what they had wrought, for the things they had molded into the child could neither be sold nor bought. And each agreed that they would have failed if each had worked alone. For behind our parents stood the school, and behind the teacher stood the home. I look forward to forging a partnership with you, the board, and with all of our stakeholders. Thank you for your trust in me.
That's all, folks.
All right.
That's
Great
all
day.
we have. Thank you very much for coming. We definitely appreciate everyone. We do have a media conference in about 15 minutes, but we would like to give people moments to give their own congratulations to Mrs. Fowler Mack if you want to now.
Thank you.
Thank you. No.